All right. So let's begin our Pilates class by lying down. Let's have our knees bent and together, feet apart so that we can rest the knees against each other. Let's also position our arms kind of wide out at the sides so that the chest is feeling open here just because you are lying down. Under the head, if you need some padding, just minimum necessary for you to be comfortable, and preferably none if you are okay with that, so that the head can lie level with the rest of the spine, because we spend so much time hunched over with our head forward over the smartphone or steering wheel or computer screen. So it's a good opportunity for us to just put the head back on level where it belongs. Let's take a moment and get in the mood by lengthening the exhale and deepening the inhale. So you can use the Pilates breath by breathing out through the mouth, but I prefer the yogic breath where I breathe in and out through the nose. And we use the constriction in the throat to lengthen the breath and create the ujjayi sound. So you can give yourself a moment to settle and allow the exhale to lengthen, breathing out through the restriction in the throat and waiting for the inhale to naturally deepen as a consequence. Meanwhile, as you're relaxing, this breath is supposed to be relaxing. Start scanning your body mentally, just to get a before picture, so that you know what you're starting with. Start collecting some information about what you notice in your body. Where's the stress and tension that you have collected over the past week? So that when we are moving, creating shapes, and interacting with those areas, you can be particularly mindful. And also at the end of the practice, when we're back here and contemplating the effects, you have something to compare and notice how the practice has been affecting you, whether it's been effective or not to release the tension and the stress in the areas where you identify. Let's also start to slowly turn the head side to side to begin to increase circulation to the neck and via the neck to the brain. Let's keep our jaw relaxed and our eyes closed. And continue lengthen the exhale as you slowly turn the head. Do not lift the head to move it, just let it roll slowly side to side. Some head circles too. Next time you pass through the center, find a nice flat spot in the back of the head, and then start with small circle, moving slowly bigger and bigger, gradually to your biggest comfortable. And again, do not lift the head to move it. Let it roll. Very relaxed and very relaxing. Once you arrive to your biggest comfortable, go back in the other direction, back to smaller and smaller, spiraling inward. Jaw relaxed, eyes closed. And then at the end, you can rub your palms together and give your neck a little massage. Sometimes tension in the neck and shoulders prevents us from being in better alignment when we are doing our core work. So it's very important to have the area relaxed a little bit right off the bat, so nothing's in the way, no tension is in the way of better mind-body communication. Feel free to run your fingers up into the scalp as well. There's many pressure points there to explore that have an overall relaxing effect on the body. Don't mind messing up your hair a little bit. When you are done, bring the arms down to your sides. And on the inhale, we'll reach up overhead, arching the low back a little bit. And on the exhale, bring the arms back down, rounding the low back. Continue at your pace. With the arms somewhat active and fingers spread. And a sense of like a yawn in bed in your body. You're reaching with purpose, actively stretching. Inhaling, reaching up. And exhaling, reaching down. Long exhalations, and maybe starting to build the inhale a little bit deeper as well. Next time you inhale and bring the arms up, bring them wide out, shoulder level, and hover them an inch off the floor. On the exhale, we'll cross the arms one over the other into a tight self-hug, spreading the shoulder blades. And on the inhale, we'll open wide again and squeeze the shoulder blades lightly with your own body weight kind of on top. Recross, exhaling, open wide and hover, inhaling. This is to stimulate some blood flow to our upper back muscles and chest. Often there's tension there as well that prevents better alignment in back bends and twists. So let's prepare that area with some blood flow to listen when we want to make certain arrangements. Very good. Next time you cross, just stay for a moment. You can do a little self-massage, rocking a little bit side to side in place. You can lift the pelvis up a little bit to focus your body weight right over the top of the spot between the shoulder blades and massage that with your body weight, just shifting around, rocking side to side. Good. When you are done, release. Let's grab our knees into chest. Embracing them in, interlacing the hands over the shins or holding onto the kneecaps. Do a little rocking side to side. Just start massaging your low back and sacrum with some body weight shifting around. You can pause a little on the right, pulse there. Pause and pulse on the left. Just feel around and see what is going on in the low back today. A little bit of blood flow going down there with some circles. Good. Some egg beaters holding on to each knee. Circle around, away from each other. A few times. Listen into the hip joints, what's going on with them. And then reverse the direction you're circling. Circle. And keep listening. Hello, hips. How's things? How's life? And then holding on again to the knees for Apanasana. We'll inhale legs away from the belly into tabletop, pointing the toes. And then draw the knees in towards the belly, flexing the feet. And feel free to softly pulse there at the end. Inhale, tabletop point. Exhale in and flex. Very good. A few of these coordinating breath and movement together. And just wait for the breath to begin. Let the inhale to begin a nanosecond, then you follow through with the leg movements. So wait. Let the exhale to begin, and then you follow through with the pull of the knees in, flex and pulse. One more. And then we'll straighten the legs on the floor. And go for a nice big full body stretch on the inhale. And on the exhale, grab one leg back in, leaving the other down. And as you gently assisting the bent one in, give it a little extra circle or a pulse or an ankle twirl. And go side to side, inhaling full body stretch. Exhaling, other leg in, circle, pulse, twirl. Let's do a few of these side to side. The soft, tense release component. On the inhale, tense as you're reaching really actively to elongate on the floor. And on the exhale, as you grab the leg in, soften, relax, almost like melt into the shape. Keep going. Good. Just keep feeling your body so that you get a sense of how things are doing today. Collect information, file it away for later. Finish out your round on the other side. Good. And then we'll grab our bands. Let me pass out those of you who don't have bands. Who doesn't have a band? You have a band? That's fine. If you have a band, everybody grab your band. And I like to use medium bands. We'll have our left leg bent on the floor and we'll step our right foot in. Have the band draping over the ball of the foot. And extend the leg up and allow the foot to have like a high heel position so that you're pressing the ball of the foot out while flexing the toes in, almost like you're pressing into a gas pedal. And then you don't need a lot of tension in the band, just hold the very ends. And then on the inhale, we'll lower the leg down to about an inch off the floor. On the exhale, we're going to pull in the abdomen a little to bring the leg up. Inhale down and hover. Exhale, zip your belly and bring it up until you feel a little stretch in the back of the leg. Just a little bit will do. And continue. Inhale down. Exhale, zipping up. Coordinating the exhale with a little core activation and then the leg lift in that order. I call this micro-sequencing. So you exhale, zipping up. Very good, very good. And what you're waiting for is a little tingle in the hip flexor. We're unlocking our hip flexors here, which tend to sometimes get locked up from sitting too much with our knees flexed in. So this will allow us to get some blood flow to them. Once you feel a little tingle, bring the leg up and join the ends of the band in the opposite hand. So this is your right leg. Your left hand will hold both ends. And then bring the leg all the way down to the floor. Keep the left knee bent. And let the band pull the leg across the midline just a little bit across to the left. And then scoot your shoulders to the left a little bit as well. And take your right arm wide out overhead or to the right so that your whole right side of the body is elongated a little bit. And you have a soft lateral, a half moon shape happening. Nice. Let's take a breath in and out into our right ribs here as the hip flexor is being released. You can even pigeon toe your right foot a little bit for that. And then we'll come back to center, level off. Bring the leg up, open the ends of the band and step the other foot in, right draping over the ball of the foot. And the right leg will come bent to the floor. Bent is better than straight, so we can isolate two sides of the pelvis. Inhale, lower, hover. Exhale, zip, and then lift. Inhale, lower, hover. Exhale, zip, and then lift. Very good. So just meditate on how you can connect breath and movement and use the exhale to get your core in before the action of the leg up. So that's micro-sequencing right there. Breath first, and then activation of core with it, and then the action of the leg coming up. Using that, being supported by that. Yeah? A little tingle in the hip happening yet? Nice. So next time the leg is up, join the ends of the band in your right hand and bring the left leg all the way to floor. Scooch it over or let the bands pull it over a little bit across the midline to the right. Shift the shoulders to the right and bring the left arm wide out or up overhead. With our left ribs bowed out. Rest, relax, nice long exhale. Good. Because hip flexors also sometimes get in the way of better deep core activation. Then we'll come back to center, take the band off, and place it across your belly for easy access in just a moment. And let's bring our legs into butterfly position, where we have feet together, knees open. Let's actually, this is something new I've been using. Let's take our band and make a ball. Bunch it up together, and then place that ball between your low back and the floor. So we feel it occupy the space of the arch of the low back, yes? And in this butterfly position, everybody should have some arch in the low back. Do we feel it? Did it fit there? So what our goal is not to squish down the band ball. Because as we're going to exhale, bring our knees together, close the butterfly all the way, activate our feet as if they're in the band, squeeze, and then pull in your pelvic floor until you feel your lower belly activate. Try not to squeeze the gluteals around the low back. Inhale, open, and relax. So exhale together, squeeze, zip from the feet all the way up to the pelvic floor, all the way to the lower belly, without rounding the low back, right? Without squishing down the rubber band that's there. Does that make sense? So continue at your pace. Exhale together, feet, pelvic floor, lower belly right between kind of navel and pubis. You want to zip up to the low rise. And then inhale, open, and relax. How are we doing? Exhale together, zip, and making sure our ball of the band down there does not get squished. Yes? Good. Next time you exhale, bring the knees together. Take the band out. We're going to bind our legs with it. So my patented method for binding the legs is to drape the middle of the band over kneecaps. That way it will not roll up or down as much. Have your knees together as you're draping. Lift the shins and cross behind the knees. And then feet out to the ends of the band. Put the feet back down, holding the ends. Let's find our neutral pelvis again so that our navel and pubis are level. And let's remember what it felt like to have the band there, right? We want to keep it again from being squished. Now it's imaginary band. As we exhale, we're going to zip in and slowly open the knees with a little pause. And then on the inhale, slowly close together. Exhale, zip, open, but the space between the low back and the floor stays undisturbed. Inhale, slowly close. Yes, with a little pause when it's open, like 2, 3, and then close. How are we doing? So we're trying not to over grip with the buttock muscles, with the gluteals. We're trying to really zero in on our deep core muscles, such as our transverse abdominis here between the hip points and the lower abdomen. And this is a selective engagement, selective relaxation skill that we are working on right now. so that we spend our energy wisely, not create unnecessary tension, and not avoid the work that we need to do. Next time you open the knees, micropulse. Micropulse with the knees open. Until you feel a nice good level of sensation deep inside the hip. Yeah? Feeling a little bit starting to build? If you didn't feel it until now, you should start to feel something now. And then slowly release. Take the band off. And let's do some easy egg beaters holding onto the knees so that you can enjoy the effects. The hips generally feel miles better, smooth and well-oiled after exercises like this. Good. Now we're going to put the feet down and step wide apart with the arms wide, shoulder level, palms facing up for an easy twist. As we exhale, releasing the knees to the left, head turning to the right. Inhaling center, exhale other direction. Just go side to side with a nice long exhale, taking you into the twist. And an inhale, coming back to center. Very good. Now we'll do a reduced range twist for strengthening. This was just to increase some flexibility. Next we're going to strengthen, coming back to center. Step the feet together. Find your neutral pelvis. So you can either imagine that the ball of the band is there or actually put it back in, because it's kind of important to maintain neutral pelvis, neutral low back as we do the twist. So we're going to exhale, zip up, and then step the legs up into tabletop and keep the knees together and the arms nice and wide for a bit of leverage. As we inhale, we'll tilt halfway over, trying to keep our knees from coming apart or sliding against each other. On the exhale, we're going to zip, squeeze, and come center. Inhale, side and over, halfway only. Exhale, squeeze, zip, and center. And let the band in the small of your back remind you not to round the low back as you do this, maintaining neutral throughout. And really try to keep the knees from coming apart and the knees from sliding against each other. Let's do this. Pause with your knees to your left and look down at them. Does one knee look shorter than the other? Reach that top knee up, 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 and stack it over the other. Yes, that's the action you're looking for. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, tilt over to the other side. And keep reaching that top knee so they look the same length to you. Yes, yes, yes. That's the work, the obliques. Otherwise, it's something else that's doing it. Knees stay together. Very good. Come back to center. Grab the knees in. Now you'll squeeze you. Follow the band if it's there, as the back rounds naturally here for a little rest. Very good. We'll come on to our side. Take the band out of your way for now. We'll come on to our side. Bring the knees up at 90 degrees like we're sitting in the chair. And rest our head on the bottom arm. So here again, we want to keep the knees from sliding so the top knee does not slide back. Also, we want to keep the knees from separating and from coming up off the floor. So take a moment to look first at the action of the arm. On the inhale, we'll take the top arm up overhead and sweep around, rolling the ribs. You can see how my rib cage is opening, but my knees are still together and the top knee did not slide in. Yes? And then on the exhale, we'll bring the arm across back to start. Inhale up, overhead, around knees. Exhale, through side, back to start. Yes, and support your head as you make this generous arc overhead. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, through side, back to start. To stimulate the chest to bring the arm up. Don't rush. Don't rush. Follow your own breath. Let the inhale begin, and then the arm starts to move. Let the exhale begin, and then complete the path. Rib cage turning. Nice. Last one. And then rest the hand on the floor in front of your chest. Then we'll straighten our top leg. And pick a diameter of a circle here, nice and slow, that allows our pelvis to stay stable. You can use your top hand on the hip in the beginning as you find out how big, right, you can go without excessive wobble of the pelvis. So using your core muscles, so pull in the belly a little bit to stabilize the pelvis as the leg is intentionally throwing it off balance, yes? And it's good to imagine that the band is there, so your foot is softly active but not tense. Now we'll go back in the other direction, just steady breathing. Inhale, circle. Exhale, circle, something like that. Try and stay, kind of don't rock the boat exercise here. Good. Well, we'll do a side stretch on the inhale, so the top leg will be straight down, the top arm overhead, inhale. And then bring the top knee in and the elbow back and down towards the floor behind you on the exhale. Inhale, side stretch. Exhale and twist. Knee in, elbow back and down, and the head supported. Very good. So one of my purposes in this class is just to increase general mobility and agility so that we can move with greater ease throughout our daily activities, throughout life. Last one, and then we do a side bounce here. So if you need a little extra padding, if you feel like the hip is a little bit firmer on the floor than you'd like, you can grab an extra blanket and put it down. Let me get you one. Thank you. Anybody else would like a blanket delivered? So a little extra padding doesn't hurt. Actually, the opposite. Under your hip. So if you're lying on your side and you're feeling it's a little too uncomfortable, slide right under your hip there and come onto your side. And let's straighten our legs. As you straighten your legs, reach the top leg down so it feels like it's the same length as the bottom, especially for female pelvis, which is wider. What tends to happen is that the waist collapses, the pelvis just kind of collapses in, and then the top leg all of a sudden is shorter than the bottom, yeah? So reach down until your bunions touch. And then rest your hand on the floor here for a little support. Exhale, squeeze legs, zip in and lift side and up. Inhale, lower but hover. Exhale, squeeze, zip and lift. Inhale, lower but hover. Keep your head relaxed in your bottom arm. Just kind of working this, working this with the zip up. And yeah, very nice. Just kind of rubbing the bunions together so that you feel like the legs are really staying together. Good, good, good. Next time you bring them up, keep them up. Let's take our hands and clasp behind the head and just balance here for a moment. Try not to tense in the neck and just keep it nice and level. So this is where we'll be arriving in our banana exercise coming up next, right? So remember how this feels. You're really stacked on your side, yeah? And the legs are up. Exit, hand to floor, knees in, a little rest. And then you can flip over to the other side. Bring the knees up like you're sitting in the chair and rest your head in the bottom arm. And remember to keep the knees from sliding coming apart or lifting up off the floor as you do the arm circle. The top arm on the inhale goes up overhead and around as you twist the ribs, and then through side back to start on the exhale. So it's a generous sweep up overhead, inhaling with the rib rotation, but the pelvis stays anchored down and stacked and stable. It also helps to give some muscular energy to the arm by spreading the fingers, so it's not limp noodle arm, but active arm, as if you're moving through an air that is much denser than it is here, right? It's almost like honey density. So think of it this way, self-resisting in the muscles of your arm a little bit. Yeah, just to have sensations a little bit richer, and just to have the muscles a little bit more present and active in the movement. Last one. And then resting the hand on the floor in front of our chest. Let's extend the top leg to straight. And circle that. Start slow and smaller. And find, as you increase the diameter, an amplitude that allows you to be really stable through the pelvis, yes? So don't rock the boat. Nice and slow. Inhale, circle. Exhale, circle. So think of slow as the new advanced. Right? The slower you go, the more you can really engage the muscles rather than momentum to take you through the movement. Active but not tense in the foot. Let's go in the other direction. This is so good for our hips. Non-weight bearing mobilization is like number one on my list for healthy joints. Then we'll do side body stretch on the inhale, taking the top leg down and the top arm overhead, reaching long. And then knee in and elbow back and down towards the floor behind us. On the exhale, twisting. And here again could be a slight tense release component. As you inhale, it's kind of an active stretch. And then on the exhale, just pour yourself and melt into the twist. Yes, very good. And supporting the head is really good for just keeping the neck from tensing up unnecessarily.
I have a weird neck.
Yeah, just so that it's doesn't bother me too much. Yes. And then let's come out and exit. Take a moment to stack our legs straight down for our side balance. Yeah, so let's join our bunions together. You should have a sense of a waistline underneath. There should be like a little bit of a mouse hole down there. And then exhale, squeeze the legs together and lift up side. Inhale, lower but hover. We're only doing a few, so we want to just keep it up. Just try and keep the legs from coming apart. Exhale, zip first, then lift up a moment later. So making sure your zip up is on before you add the action. Good. Up and hold. Clasping the hands behind the head. Experience a balance on your side. Keep the head relaxed. Very good. And then exit and rest. You can come onto your back for a moment and just hug the knees in to reset. And level off after the twist and the laterals. You know, it might help you if you turned around so you don't have to look up over there and you just look down and be more comfortable for your neck. So let's see what this banana business is about. So if you're not sure what it is, just take a moment to take a look first. We'll begin in table pose with our hands clasped, supporting the head, not in a sit-up, but then just a micro hover up off the floor, just for support. There should be a band ball in between your low back, imaginary one there, so it's nice and neutral. On the exhale, keeping the legs together, we're going to roll over to the side, straighten them as we go, and catch our balance on the side. You can just watch first. And then inhale, keeping the legs together as you bend back in tabletop and roll back. Exhale, like a log, you're rolling side to side. On the exhale, arrive into that side balance we practiced a moment ago. And then on the inhale, come back to center. Yeah? Yes, nice. Catch yourself on the side. All the way on the side if you can. You can use your elbows for light check of your balance once you arrive. But the head is in line with the spine. The head is not cocked over to the side or any tension there is necessary. The legs are siding up when you arrive. And then you roll back center. And let's do one last one. Catch yourself on the side. Beautiful. Come onto your back. Grab the knees in. Moment of reflection as you hug and pulse the knees. How did that go? That okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my signature liberated yoga. I call it the rolling banana exercise. Because you have a banana shape, right, on the side, and you're rolling side to side. This exercise really helps to integrate a lot of different skills. Breath movement coordination, zip up. So let's flip over into child's pose when we are done. And feel free to put some padding under your knees if you like. And let's come into extended child's pose with our arms reaching forward. And our hips as far back towards the heels as is comfortable. And for a moment, let's pause here and find our lower back rib expansion on the inhale, the so-called back body breath. That's what I call that. So as you inhale, allow the lower back ribs to expand and receive your breath. It's that action that we use when we're doing our back bends on the inhale to protect the low back from unnecessary compression. So our first back bend coming up in table pose on the inhale. Come onto all fours. Create that back bend like a sway back here while maintaining a little zip up in the belly. And then exhale back into child's pose. Relax. Inhale, table. A little bit of a back bend, a little bit of a zip up. And then exhale back into child's pose. So here we're testing our lower back rib expansion on the inhale in table pose and in back bend, just to make sure that that action is there. When we're going to need it later. Nice. Next time you come onto all fours, we'll do some cats and cows. We'll work on fluid spinal movement there, arching on the inhale, and then rounding the back vertebra by vertebra on the exhale. Just continue at your pace back and forth. Arching, inhaling, rounding, exhaling. Vertebra by vertebra, fluid, like that howling cat shape. And making it like a high-rise zip up in the belly. So as you inhale, it's a low-rise zip up. It's not a complete dump out, right? There's still a little action there to be had. But as you round, you zip, zip, zip. Now let's polish off with the jump rope. Inhaling, center sway back. Exhale, a side squeeze, a round spine, a side squeeze on the other. Inhaling, center sway back. And go in the other direction. Side squeeze, round back, side squeeze other, center sway back. Nice. Go back and forth in both directions. Beautiful. Like a jump rope. And then a little rest back in child's pose. Roll your wrists if they've gotten a little tired. Good. From here, we'll come onto the belly and get to the business of the back bends. Let's prop ourselves up on the elbows so that the chest is lifted. Let's find that little zip up in the lower abdomen. Remember, we've been talking about it. Anybody has any questions about that? So think of like your low-rise jeans. You need to suck it in a little bit to zip that up, yeah? So that's the action you're looking for, but not mom-rise jean, right? Because that will tense up your buttocks and kind of tense up your low back, just the low-rise. And let's do a little shoulder shrugs just to kind of reframe for ourselves, sensations in the neck and shoulders, just bracing up on the elbows, just to feel your shoulder blades, because we're going to have to arrange them in a certain way, right? We're going to pull the shoulder blades back and down and lengthen up, and then we'll step the fingertips wide, nice and wide. And on the fingertips, because I don't want you to use your arms to crank up into a back bend, mostly just a little bit of fingertip pressure only. Ready? Inhale, zip, back body breath, and come up. Exhale down, and cheek to side, hover off the floor. Inhale, mini zip, and up. Exhale down, cheek other side. Now as you're coming up, watch those shoulder blades, that they don't slide up towards your ears. You're driving the shoulder blades down, yes, as you're coming up. So you're using your back muscles rather than your arms, please. You should be able to come up most of the ways up on your back string, and then just at the very end, support with the fingertips. So, yeah, let's all have no hands on the floor and see how high we come up without. Just to be honest, and then put it down. And add the slightest bit of pressure, like 1/4 inch to lift you up, yeah? That's all. 1/4 inch, nice. Does that make sense? So if you find yourself all of a sudden not coming up as high, you've probably been using your arms. Yeah. And if you let go, you're pretty much where you put yourself when you come up. A little rest, holding the hands under the face. And bless you, roll with the knees side to side. They get a little too warm? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Mm-hmm. It's fine. Okay, we can open the door. What do you think?
It's fine.
And are you okay? You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll do some leg lifts. So here again, we want to keep our pelvis nice and level. So sometimes when we lift a leg, what happens is a hip point comes up for some on the same side as the leg is coming up, or on the other side. So sometimes, you have the opposite hip point come up, and sometimes the same. So what we want to keep is level. So anchor the hip points down. Use your zip up as you exhale and extend one leg up. Try and keep both nice and level. Yes. Inhale, bring it down. Exhale, extend the other. Try and keep them both nice and level. Inhale, bring it down. Because you don't want to use your twisting muscles here. You really want to use your core, your glutes, your low back in a very structured way for now. Mm-hmm. Yes? Good? We clear on that? You guys are doing great. Yes, yes, yes. A little rest with the windshield wipers again, bending the knees side to side. Mm-hmm. And then we'll do my other favorite one, which is swan dive, sky dive exercise. We're going to have 2 variations on a back strengthener. So variation 1 will be to have our hands out wide and lift the chest, lift the legs. You can rest your hands on the floor if it feels like a little too much. Or you can lift the arms as well. I like the kind of shovel arm position so that our palms are facing forward and we can drive those shoulder blades deep into their pockets, and our hands are kind of like shovels here, yes. And then to exit, you can come down, rest cheek to side. Rest as much as you need to. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the chest, lift the legs, And you can either keep the shovels on the ground or lift the shovels as well. Yeah, so that's option 1. Let's do that one more time just to kind of get a feel for that, if that feels good. Exhale, zip, up, legs, shovels, and shoulder blades in the pockets. Good. A little rest. Bend the knees, windshield wide. Very good. So you can repeat that version of it, or you can do the more advanced variation, which I call swan diving, skydiving variation, where we start with the arms and the legs straight out and up in the air, like you're swan diving off a cliff, inhaling. On the exhale, you'll spread the legs, pull back the elbows, lifting the chest to that shovel arm position, and the shoulder blades go deep down into the back pockets. And then inhale again, swan dive. Exhale, skydive. It helps to look down so the back of the neck does not communicate tension to the low back. Yeah? Try that, and if this feels too much, go back to the previous variation. And monitor so that you can stop and rest anytime you feel like you're crossing the line into strain. Yes, nice. Beautiful. If you have some energy left, hold the exhale shapes. Hold the skydiver for a breath or two extra at the end. And if you need to rest, just rest anytime. Good. Exit when you are done, pushing up and back into child's pose. And then a few child to table, inhaling table, exhaling child, just to release the low back. Settle down. One or two more. And a rest in child's pose. You can fold the hands under your forehead, find your back body breath here. Relax. All right, we'll do some spinal balance exercises. Let's, again, if you need to pad your knees a little extra, feel free to make arrangements. And we'll come into table pose with our elbows micro bent. So try and avoid locking the elbows and hyperextending them, because you can see how that brings the shoulder up towards the ear and just really loses that back pocket connection for your shoulder blade. So bring the shoulder blades down and soften the elbows a little bit so you feel your back muscles on. Find your neutral pelvis, meaning that your navel and pubis are level. Have a little bit of a saddle back here. On the exhale, zip in your belly and extend a set of opposite limbs and reach long. Hold, inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, reset. Neutral, shoulder blades. Exhale, extend the other set of opposite limbs and reach and press the foot back and the hand forward. And let's go side to side. And as we reach, imagine almost like you want to keep elevator doors from closing with your foot and your hand, just really pushing them open. Let's do about 3 or 4 rounds of this. And here we want to keep our pelvis square to the floor, our shoulders square to the floor. Very good. Finish up and rest in child's pose. Come back body breath, some wrist rolls. Relax. Very good. So that's kind of entry level, right? For a more involved, advanced variation, after you've rested, give your wrists a little chance there to relax. You can even massage them. Option 1 is just to hold the shape. So once you get there, with your zip up and your shoulder blades in your back pockets, you extend a set of opposite limbs and you just hold, trying to hold steady. For more challenge, you can move the limbs side to side, opposite directions of each other, intentionally trying to throw yourself off balance. Yes. There. Oof, right? Just a little bit on each side, so let's switch sides. Either hold, plank. If you're feeling like you could do a little more, add the side to side, limbs in opposite directions. So the leg is pulling in one direction, the arm in the opposite. Trying to keep the pelvis square and the shoulders square. Beautiful. A little rest in child's pose. Wrist rolls, very nice. And then we've also been doing planks, right? We've been working on those. Still on the books is one of the best core exercises. So let's bring our elbows down. And then we'll walk our knees back until our butt lowers down to shoulder level. And we have our torso parallel to the floor. Yes. Here let's find neutral pelvis. We'll keep your knees down for now while we're seeking for neutral pelvis with a little micro arch and micro round of the low back. And what you're looking for is a sensation of a Kegel happening, or a pelvic floor lift and a low belly zip just happening on its own. Yeah, as you do a little micro tilt and tuck. And your neutral will be where you feel the most natural actually support and lift from pelvic floor and lower belly. You can hold right here, shoulder blades down in the pockets, or you can straighten the legs. Just keep your butt from sinking or lifting. If you have to err on the side of caution, you can bring it up rather than let it sink low. Yeah, so a little higher is better than a little lower. Breathe. Good. And then bring the knees down, lower the belly to the floor and rest. Very nice. You can do windshield wipers. Perfect. Let's do one more. And see if you can remember all the elements, right, that go into a perfect plank. Neutral pelvis, nice parallel line between shoulders and hips. Right, we want our shoulder blades in the back pockets of our jeans. We want that neutral pelvis. You should feel that nice suction effect in the lower belly, that lift in the pelvic floor. And then you can add the straight legs. Just make sure the pelvis doesn't sink. Right, breathe, breathing. Rest anytime. For more challenge, you can alternate and lift a leg at a time. And for most challenge, both legs can come up off the floor as well. Got you there. When you are done, transition into child's pose. Very nice. Next, when we transition to seated, let's grab our band on our way so that it is within easy reach as we sit up. So we'll have our band nice and close within easy reach. First, we'll practice the zip up here, right? So you probably noticed a theme. Can you feel it here? Can you feel it here? So can you feel it here? To feel it better, let's straighten up our back, bring the fingertips to the floor, to the sides, and slightly back. And we're going to imagine, and this is key, imagine we're going to lift the butt off the floor. Don't lift, right? You don't have enough strength in your fingers, really, maybe, to support this, but it'll send the right idea to your core muscles. They'll start to kind of grab on, right? That's what you want to feel. And let's reposition our hands out in front and turn the palms up, like we're holding heavy cookie plates. That's right. And that will send your shoulder blades down the back because you can imagine their weight. Ready? Inhale, and as you exhale, pass your right cookie plate behind you slightly. Inhale, center. Exhale, pass your left plate to your side and slightly back. Nice. You're trying to really isolate the rotation of the rib cage and keep the pelvis really steady. And the knees from pedaling. So as you reach your right arm and your left arm side and back, keep your knees from pedaling, keeping your zip in the belly. Nice. For a little rest, come forward, bend your knees more if needed so you can grab your feet nice and well over the top, and then bury your face in your legs, and you can stretch your back by holding onto your legs and then gas pedal pressing down into your hands. Some might like that little stretch. Now we'll sit up tall, and we'll add a resistance band to this. Try and find the very center of the band so that you have equal lengths on both sides. And have your knees bent and the balls of the feet just slightly pointing down so the band stays put. And then feet out to the very end of the band. Hold between index and thumb and spread out the rest of the fingers. I call this Queen's High T position. Also, the elbows need to be more like eagle wings rather than chicken wings. So the elbows are back, the chest is lifted, shoulder blades are down. Exhale and pull on one end as you turn the rib cage. Inhale, center. So same movement that we did with the cookies. Now we're doing with the resistance of the band. And you're trying to keep your spine really straight. Try not to pull with the elbow back like this. Just rotate the ribs and the arm is attached. And it'll give you the right feeling. Keep the elbows down. Keep the elbows down and pull the band kind of diagonally with the pinky pointing out. Pinky pointing out. Yeah. A little rest coming forward. We'll come back to this in a moment. Grab your feet, pull forward over bent legs and relax for a moment. Back body breaths. And then we'll work on our balance here a little bit and then come back to using the band. So let's hold on to behind our knees. Straighten up, and remember what it feels like to zip up in this position. Shoulder blades down, and then lean back a hair till your arms are straight but still holding. And then exhale, zip, and see if you can lift the legs up. Get your shins to be more parallel to the floor. Good. Hold, breathe, use your hands as needed, but as minimum as needed. And some of us may be able to let go and keep our back from collapsing, from rounding. Our breath mass is steady. Good. Shoulder blades down in the pockets. As you're ready to exit, hold on the dismount. And you can come down between your knees maybe just for a change of stretch here as you rest. Very good. Option 1 to repeat. Option 2 is to add the band. So if you were able to let go of the legs and feel comfortable there with the effort of that, you can try and add the band. If you could not let go of the legs, felt like too much, don't use the band just yet. Save that for later as you become stronger. So hold the ends of the band again with the Queen's High T. Shoulders up, eagle wings. And then exhale, everybody lean back a hair, zip, squeeze, and get the legs up into the air. Hold here, breathe. Train your shoulder blades down. If you want to use the band, you can exhale, straighten the legs as you pull both ends back and down. Inhale and reshape. Exhale, pull both ends back and down. Inhale and reshape. Yeah, pull back and down. Nice. Last one if you're still with me. And exit with control. Very, very good. Forward fold. Some nice back body breaths. And then we'll come onto our backs. Make sure you'll be comfortable as you lie. Maybe some padding. And grab your knees in so that we can do a little bit of Apanasana. And rest our back after the seated exercises there. Some circles, egg beaters, Apanasana, pulsing. Let's spend about a minute just recovering. Now we'll do the usual wind down, starting with the hovering butterfly, which is my favorite for pelvic stability. So if you felt wobbly today or struggled a little bit with the plank and the seated balancing angle there, this is really good. So have your feet together, knees bent, neutral pelvis. And then lifting the pelvis up just a little bit off the floor, just an inch or two. Keep it hovering. This is the hovering part of the butterfly. As we slowly open the knees. Very slowly. Count 10 to 15. Count mentally to yourself to 10 or to 15 as you open. And as you open wider, allow the inner edges of the feet to come up off the floor so you're balancing on the outer edges. And keep your butt from sinking. So there's always that little inch of space. And then slowly close together. So it took me all that time to just open fully. And I'm still closing. And it's not closed yet, but halfway. And still a little way to go. And close all the way to touch of the knees together. So that's how, so that was one butterfly flutter. So let's do a few. This works well. The slower you go, the longer you do it. Just relax your upper body. Keep the pelvis from sagging down. Park it. Keep it hovering throughout. And when you're closing the butterfly wings, the feet just come flat on the floor next to each other. So there's no need to shift the feet to make the soles touch at any point. Just leave that space for the feet as you open the knees and balance on the outer edges. And this one also is best to do when you feel like you're done, do one more. And if you're shaking a little bit, that's not bad, that's okay. It's one of those rare instances when that's okay. Just be with it, breathe through it. The more regularly you do this, the less shakiness there will be. The more you know that you're actually gaining some nice, much needed stability in your deep core. So shakiness is a sign that things are a little unstable, and you really need to be doing this every day, maybe for 2-3 weeks, to get some progress. Good. As you finish your last one, all the way to knees touch, Bring the pelvis down, grab the knees in for a little Apanasana pulse reset. And then we'll do our hip flexor release again, because we've used them in practice today. So let's have our feet on the floor, and we'll straighten our right leg. And then scooch it over to the left, keeping the left knee bent. Just bring the thigh up against the shin and pigeon toe your foot to the left. Then shift both shoulders to the left and spread the arms wide so that they're on the floor and away from the sides of your body. So you have a soft lateral position going on with the right side being the convex. And just breathe into the right ribs, relax the head. Lengthen the exhale. One more breath. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Just level off first. Step the right leg in. Level the shoulders. Level the pelvis. And then straighten the left. And move it across the midline to the right. And just rest it on the floor and up against your ankle there. Then shift the shoulders to the right and spread the arms. So nothing's hanging in the air. The arm is not like hanging up over your head or by your ear. It's resting all the way on the floor. Nice long exhale. And then reshape yourself back into Apanasana, level off. Hug the knees in, pulse, inhale out, exhale in. And then we'll do our roll-up bridge, where we, again, it's one of those that integrate various skills together. So let's find our neutral pelvis, and imagine we have that band there between the low back and the floor, that little bunched up ball of the band. This time we're going to squish it down. We're going to imprint. So inhale and place in neutral. Arms can be kind of wide out. And on the exhale, as you scoop the belly in, imprint, tuck the tail between the legs and roll through the low back vertebra by vertebra. Keep lifting up, you're lifting up. And park the pelvis between knees and shoulders. Find your neutral pelvis here, so the low back is reshaped. Inhale in place, and then exhale, roll down. Tuck the tail between your legs, scoop, scoop as you imprint and roll through the low back. And then level off back into neutral for your next inhale. At your pace, exhale, scoop, imprint, and roll up with the feet grounding down evenly. Inhale and bridge in neutral. Exhale, scoop, imprint, and roll down. Inhale in neutral. And also keep your knees from drifting apart. Imagine you may be holding a big orange between your knees to give your inner thighs that little job of keeping them parallel. And work on really fluidly rolling through the spine vertebra by vertebra. Really fluidly. Yes. Using the entire length of the exhale. Nice long exhale to roll through. Nice. Just keep watching with your mental eye how your feet are doing. So that avoid digging the heels in. That tells me you're gripping with the buttocks too much. And that may reduce the amount of fluidity and flexibility in your low back. So keep the weight distributed evenly through the feet. And that orange held gently between your knees, and you might notice that it's much more fluid. Last one. And when you are done, grab the knees in for another little reset, and a little comfort to the low back. A little self-massage of the back, circling, maybe mini circles. Next, we'll do an easy twist, mostly to lengthen the exhale, with our little zip up there to help us, and keeping our legs together. So let's start with the feet on the floor. Just see how we do. Arms nice and wide, shoulder level or so. Palms facing up so the chest is still open. You can bring the heels up, but keep the balls of the feet on the floor if you like. Keep it neutral pelvis, so the low back is always in that little arch of neutral. As you exhale, twist the knees, keeping them together in one direction, head in the opposite. Inhale, center. Still neutral. Exhale, twist in the other direction. The knees do not have to come to the floor, as long as they stay together. So keep them together throughout, touching the same spot. And let's lengthen our exhale to whatever's comfortably maximum. Use your ujjayi breath. Constrict the throat a little bit, or even like sigh slowly. Inhaling back to center. Yeah, try and drag that exhale out as long as possible. And if things are going well, your low back is doing okay. If you're feeling low back is tired, just keep the feet on the floor. But if it's doing okay, you can continue in tabletop of the legs. Just keep it neutral in the low back throughout, and the legs from separating. As you exhale, twist. And if you can't bring the legs to the floor, this time do. And if it bothers your shoulder in any way, you can bring the opposite arm up by your ear a little bit here to release that pressure. And then inhale back to center, and the arm can level off shoulder level. And again, as you twist, if you feel any pressure on the shoulder, bring the arm slightly up to wherever's comfortable. And then back to center. So it's really nice to be able to bring the legs to the floor. And that's why you may wish to just bring the arm up, because here you can wait for your inhale comfortably and kind of relax. What happens when we lengthen the exhale to comfortable maximum, we start to find a natural, easy, effortless pause at the end of the exhale. It's nice to just be comfortable while you're waiting for the inhale here. And one last side to side. Keep the knees together. And then plenty of Apanasana at the end. As you come back to center. Last thing, but very important, grabbing those knees. Holding on to them so it's minimum effort. Use your arms to move the legs away on the inhale. Let the shins relax down, hang. And then exhale, pull softly back towards the belly. Follow through with a soft pulse at the end of the exhale. Let's do a few of these for a minute or two as we settle the back down. Your longest exhale. And if you have a pause at the end of the exhale, just wait here, softly pulsing the knees for you inhale. And follow your breath. And if your back is tired later today or tomorrow, and you feel like you may have accidentally overdid it in class today, do this again. Lie down on the floor at home on a softly padded surface that's nice and level like this. And do this. This will increase circulation to the low back, rinse out any lactic acid that may be causing a bit of discomfort, release tension. To rest, you can come into constructive rest pose with the feet on the floor and apart, knees together. And the arms could be on your belly, ribs, or out wide if you enjoy that. Open feeling across the chest some more. Just stay with the breath. Nice long exhale. Pause at the end of the exhale. Give yourself a body scan again to compare how your body feels to you now after the practice to what it felt like before. And try and lengthen your exhale so that it's at least 6 seconds long. So as you exhale, through that restriction in the throat, count to yourself 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4, 5, 6. So hold on to that breath as long as you can. It also helps if you're doing this at home and you're having trouble relaxing and lengthening the exhale. You can do a little soft humming. So you inhale normally. And then on the exhale you go. Trying to hold the note as even and as long as possible. That really helps to get the point across of what you're supposed to be doing with your breath. So just the sound is also very relaxing. Just like the sound of your breath is relaxing, humming is also very relaxing. Let's do a couple of more of these and observe the effects. Yeah, just see if you're a little bit more relaxed. It's like the last bit of the Om. So just let's stay with the feeling for another minute. And then to transition, you can stretch a little bit and then move over to your side. And pause on your side a moment. So you transition gradually. It's not a shock to your nervous system to just jump up suddenly. Then help yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Sit for a moment in any comfortable seated position. Legs crossed, or whatever feels good to you. Just let your eyes gaze down softly as you become more alert. And I thank you for joining me. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. See you on YouTube when you're off for vacation. I'll be there for you.
I'm not going to be here.
And if you're not going to be here, you can still be there.
YouTube, and what is your